I kept telling him he wasn't enough, so he found someone who said he was, and I hate her more than him. Yeah. You heard that, right? More than him. It sounds crazy. I know. Me. Brianna, 30 years old. And I'm telling you, this is the wildest thing that's ever happened to me. I mean, I really hate her. Like, deep down in my bones. And it's not even just about him anymore. It's about her, this little whatever she is, thinking she can just waltz in and take what was mine. I probably should have seen this coming, though everything always comes back around, right? When I met Dylan, he was fine. He was cute enough, worked a decent job, and he seemed really into me. That was the main thing. Honestly, he just adored me. He'd bring me flowers, open doors, always pay for dinner. He'd listen to me talk for hours about my day, about Brenda at work, about how my boss was being a total pain. He just soaked it all up. And I loved that. I needed that. Someone who just thought I was the best thing ever. And for a while, it worked. We moved in together pretty quickly. Maybe 6 months in. I had my own apartment, but it was small. And honestly, I was tired of paying rent all by myself. Dylan had a nice place, a 2-bedroom, and he was all, "Come on, Bree, move in with me. It'll be great." And I was like, "Okay, but you're covering most of the bills, right?" My job isn't exactly rolling in dough. He said, "Of course, baby, whatever you need." So I packed my stuff, which wasn't much, and moved right in. He was thrilled. He even let me redecorate, which, between you and me, his taste was awful. Like, really, really bad. So I made it ours, mostly mine. He was such a people pleaser. It was almost annoying. He never wanted to fight. If I got upset, he'd immediately back down. He'd apologize even if it wasn't his fault. It got to the point where I knew I could say pretty much anything, and he'd just take it. And I did. I told him all the time he wasn't enough. Not directly, not in those exact words, but I'd hint at it. I'd say things like, "Why can't you be more like Mark from The Office?" He always remembers his girlfriend's birthday with something big, or "My friend Sarah's boyfriend just got promoted again. He's really going places. You should try to be more ambitious." Sometimes I'd just sigh really loud when he tried to tell me about his day, and he'd stop talking. I'd make little jokes about his clothes, or his hair, or his car. Always with a smile, of course. "Oh, honey, that shirt. Are you sure?" He'd just laugh it off, but I could see it in his eyes. He'd try harder, and that was the point. I needed him to try harder. To be better? For me, my job was, well, it was a job. It paid the bills. Mostly my personal ones, anyway. I didn't care about climbing any ladder. I just wanted to do my thing and go home. Dylan, though, he was always talking about his work, his projects, his team, his big ideas. He wanted to get promoted, move up. He was always putting in extra hours, staying late, and I'd just roll my eyes. Like, who cares that much about work? I'd tell him, "You're always at the office." "Dylan, don't you want to spend time with me?" And he'd get all flustered. "Of course I do." "Bree, but this is important for my career." And I'd say, "Important for your career? Or important for us?" He'd just sigh. He was always sighing. He started getting into these new hobbies. Running. For one, he'd get up super early, go for a run, come back all sweaty and energized. And I'd be like, can you just not? It's too early for all that noise. Or he'd want to go hiking on the weekends. "Come on, Bree, it'll be fun." And I'd be like, "No thanks. I'm not really into sweating and getting dirt everywhere. You go." So he'd go by himself or with his buddy Dave. And then I'd be annoyed that he was doing things without me. It was a no-win for him. Really, but he just kept trying. He wanted me to be happy, to be involved. I just didn't want to do those things. Our arguments were always the same. He'd try to bring up something serious, something about his feelings. "Brianna, I feel like you don't appreciate me." Or, "I wish you would talk to me more. Really talk to me." And I'd just shut down. I'd go quiet. Or sometimes I'd even start to tear up. Not actual crying, just enough to get his attention. He hated it when I was upset. "Oh, Bree, don't be sad. I'm sorry." I didn't mean it like that. And then he'd hug me, and the conversation would be over. It was so easy. He was so easy to manipulate. He just wanted me to be okay. And I knew how to make him think I wasn't. I also kept tabs on him. Not in a crazy way. Just, I needed to know where he was. If he went out with his friends, I'd text him constantly. "Where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing?" And if he didn't respond fast enough, I'd call him multiple times. He'd always get annoyed. "Brianna, I'm just with the guys." I'll call you later. And I'd be all, why? What are you hiding? Why can't you just tell me where you are? But if he asked me where I was, and I was out with my girlfriends, I'd just say, I'm with Sarah. Why? Don't you trust me? It's called privacy. Okay. He didn't need to know every single detail of my life, but I needed to know every single detail of his. That's just how it works. I'd post all these pictures on Facebook. You know, the cute ones of us laughing, holding hands, looking all loved up. My amazing man with a bunch of heart emojis. Meanwhile, just an hour before, I'd been giving him the silent treatment because he forgot to pick up my favorite coffee. But it was important to show everyone how perfect our relationship was. You know, for validation, so everyone knew I had a great boyfriend. Even if, behind closed doors, he was never quite enough, he started going to therapy. I found out through his mom, who spilled the beans. I was furious. Why didn't you tell me? Dylan, are you talking about me in there? He got all defensive, said it was for him, to process his feelings and learn coping mechanisms. Coping mechanisms. For what? For dating me. He said he felt constantly invalidated, that no matter what he did, it was never good enough for me. And I was like, you're being dramatic. It's not that serious. I just want you to be the best version of yourself. He just looked at me with this defeated look. He was Mr. Burnt out. You could just see it in his eyes. He used to try so hard, but now, nothing. Then he started being different. He wouldn't argue anymore. He'd just listen. And then he'd say, okay, Brianna, and he'd do whatever I wanted, but without any enthusiasm. He started setting these boundaries, like, Brianna, I need space when I come home from work. Can we talk about this later? Or, I need to go to bed at a certain time, so I can't stay up and talk. It was so annoying. He was always so rigid. He was becoming Mr. Growth Mindset, all about his own personal journey. And I was just like, hello, what about our journey? He got a promotion at work, a big one, more money, more responsibility. And I was like, finally, see, all my pushing paid off. And he was all, no, Brianna, this was my hard work, my effort, and frankly, your constant criticism fueled me to prove you wrong. Can you believe the nerve fueling him to prove me wrong? Like I was the bad guy. I mean, I did want him to succeed, obviously, but not like that. Not to spite me. And then she showed up. This other woman, her name is Chloe. Oh, she's just a little ray of sunshine. Isn't she always smiling, always complimenting him? Dylan started mentioning her more and more. Chloe said this. Chloe thought that. Chloe really understood what I was going through at work, and I just knew my gut was twisting. I'd try to act casual. Oh, Chloe? She sounds nice. But inside, I was fuming. This little bitch, always there, always supportive, always telling him he was enough. She was exactly what he claimed I wasn't. One night, he came home, and he was different. He wasn't sighing. He wasn't looking defeated. He was calm. And he looked at me, really looked at me, and said, Brianna, I can't do this anymore. I'm leaving. My heart stopped. I thought he was joking. Leaving. What are you talking about? Where would you even go? And he just said, I've found someone who actually sees me, who values me, who tells me I'm enough. And I deserve that. And that's when it clicked. It was her, Chloe. I tried everything. I cried. I begged. I told him he was making a huge mistake. That we had so much history. I even pulled out the big guns. Dylan, you know about my trauma? You know how hard it is for me to trust people. You can't just abandon me. But he just stood there, completely unmoved. He just said, I'm sorry, Brianna, but I can't keep sacrificing my own well-being for yours. He packed a suitcase, not a duffel bag, a suitcase. The one he never used when we went on trips because I always said it was too big. He took it and he walked out. Just walked out of my house, the house we shared. He even left his keys on the counter, like he was erasing himself. Then I found out he was actually living with her, Chloe, that little she-devil. He moved right in with her, and she lived, get this, in a bigger place, a nicer one. He sold our house, the one I had decorated, the one where I had spent all that time, and he used the money to buy a new place with her, a bigger place, with a yard, and a dog. A dog. I always wanted a dog, but he said we didn't have enough space. Now they have a dog? It's like he rubbed it in my face. And then the social media. Oh, the horror. He started posting pictures with her, Chloe, always smiling, always holding his hand, looking at him with those big, adoring eyes. My amazing man, she wrote. The same caption I used, the audacity, They were doing all the things I never wanted to do. Hiking, going to book clubs, volunteering at an animal shelter, for goodness sake. She even started posting pictures of her cooking for him. Like he couldn't feed himself. Like he was some helpless little boy. And he looked happy. Genuinely happy. It made me absolutely furious. I'd see him in the grocery store sometimes. Always with her. Always smiling. Always laughing. He looked relaxed. It was sickening. My friends? Most of them dropped me. They said I was being toxic. Can you believe that? My own friends. They were all, Brianna, you were really hard on him. You pushed him away. No, I didn't. I was trying to make him better. They just didn't get it. They were probably just jealous of me anyway. Now I hardly ever hear from anyone. It's just me and my own thoughts. And honestly, it gets pretty lonely. My job, well, that's gone too. My boss pulled me into a meeting. Said my attitude had been a problem for a while. Said I was unprofessional. Brenda, that snake, probably said something. I bet she told him about all the times I complained about him, about the jokes I made. So now I'm unemployed, and I have to figure out how to pay my own bills. Which, let me tell you, is a nightmare. I'm living off my savings, which are dwindling fast. I had all these plans, all these things I wanted to buy, and now, nothing. And then, the worst part, I saw them. At the park, Dylan and Chloe. And they were with a little boy. A baby? Their baby. He was so tiny, wrapped in a blanket. And Chloe was holding him, and Dylan was looking at both of them with so much love in his eyes. It made me want to scream. He looked at her the way he used to look at me, but somehow more. And he looked at that baby like he was the most precious thing in the world. He was a father. With her. Not me. All those times I said I wasn't ready for kids. That he wasn't enough to be a dad. That we needed more money. A bigger place. And he went and did it anyway. With someone else. I just stood there. Hidden behind a tree. Watching them. This perfect little family. The one I could have had. The one I threw away because he wasn't enough. And now he found someone who thought he was. And he has everything. The new house. The job. The perfect smiling wife. The baby. And I have nothing? I don't care anymore. Not about him. Not really. It's her. She's the one who took my life. She's the one who gets to be with him. To see him happy. To have his baby. And I hate her. More than I ever hated him. He just found someone who said he was enough. And I'm still here. Alone. Wondering how it all went so wrong. It's not my fault. Though, it never is. It's always someone else. Always.